The skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Jamie Ray Nichols is chasing Keegan Paxton in P8. The gap between Jamie Ray Nichols and Keegan Paxton is growing. It's now up to 0.8 seconds. The gap between Lyle Ramsey in 11th and Melvin Gauss remains over a second, but Lyle Ramsey is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 1 minute?
This is where experience comes into play. Melvin Gauss has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But Lyle Ramsey is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the titans?
Looks like Dylan Visagi is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curves aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right...
Hold up, braking info. Looks like that's a mistake from Melvin Gauss. This could be costly.
Melvin Gauss is not going to be happy about that.
This is where the race gets really interesting. Dylan Visagi is closing in on Sra Stadler.
Can Dylan Visagi close the 0.3 second gap and make a pass?
The tension is building as Sean Olivier trails behind Chris Foley. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Chris Foley hold on, or will Sean Olivier be able to close them down? Every move counts now as Jamie Ray Nichols works to reel in Keegan Paxton and overtake for P8. Lyle Ramsey is looking for an opportunity to get round Michelle Rust.
They need to keep it on the black stuff. You don't get points for driving over weeds, not in this game.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed. Jamie Ray Nichols is on a mission, chasing Keegan Paxton, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. It's a battle of wills out there, with Lyle Ramsey trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Michelle Rust. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? The pressure is on for Dylan Visagi as they try to catch up to Sra Stadler.
The gap is 0.4 seconds now. Dylan Visagi is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Sra Stadler.
Coming into Continental, the fight for 5th is heating up. Who will be the first to blink?
And the drivers know it too, Mark. They're giving it everything they've got, and you can see them pushing the limits of the car's capabilities.
It looks like Jamie Ray Nichols is pushing hard to catch up to Keegan Paxton. The gap is over a second, but Jamie Ray Nichols is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Keegan Paxton?
Indeed, the tension is high as Jamie Ray Nichols tries to reel in Keegan Paxton. But Keegan Paxton is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Can Jamie Ray Nichols find some extra pace to bring the fight to Keegan Paxton?
Breaking news, folks. Oh my, Martin Meintjes has had an incident.
Whoops, Martin Meintjes is going to be kicking themselves.
It's like Jean Massou has saved all their energy for this final stretch. And that, folks, is how it's done. A solid performance and great win from Jean Massou. A nail-biting finish, but JP Brand claims second place. Well done to Sra Stadler for securing third place on the podium.
Impressive driving to secure that spot.
4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th sees Dylan Visagi, Chris Foley, Sean Olivier, and Keegan Gauss. In 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, it's Keegan Paxton, Jamie Ray Nichols, Michelle Rust, and Lyle Ramsey. Finishing 12th, 13th, and 17th is Melvin Gauss, Chantel de Jaeger, and Ernest Heather. Justin Vermeulen end in 14th. Sixteenth is Martin Meidches. Let the racing begin?
Yes, Mark. Let the racing begin.
Justin Vermeulen is on pole. Chantel de Jaeger will begin the race from the second spot on the starting grid.
But they're going to have to be quick out of the blocks if they want to keep up with the top performers.
Starting from the third position on the grid, we have Melvin Gauss. Coming in at fourth, we have Lyle Ramsey. On the fifth grid slot we have Michelle Rust.
What can they do with that Legends Ford 34 coupe from here?
The flag drops, and the race is underway. Drivers now face the challenge of avoiding first-lap calamities.
These first moments can set the tone for the rest of the race. It's all about keeping a clear head and making smart decisions.
Is there a better sight than a field of elite racing drivers battling for position? As we watch the drivers fight it out in the first lap, I can already feel that this is going to be an epic race. Out of the traps, and Keegan Paxton has already made their mark in this race, Annie gaining places early on. Not the best of starts there for Justin Vermeulen, and that's going to immediately make their race more challenging.
They say laughter is the best medicine, but I'm not sure it'll help Justin Vermeulen recover from this start. Time to put the pedal to the metal.
Good news for Jamie Ray Nichols, the gap to Justin Vermeulen has decreased. It's now down to 0.1 seconds. Chantal de Jager is holding 10th, but Chris Foley is right on their tail. Chris Foley is in there like a rat up a drainpipe. Annie, Chantal de Jager is not going to be. Hold up, breaking info. This is a disaster for Chantal de Jager in the Legends Ford 34 Coupe coming into the pits, and isn't going to do much to improve their chances in this race.
Well, races can be won or lost in the pits, but in this case it's all bad news for Chantal de Jager. It's going to be tough to come back from.
The pressure is really on for Sra Stadler in 5th as Keegan Paxton is closing in. This is where experience and skill really count.
It's an intense battle between two skilled drivers, and Sra Stadler in 5th is doing everything they can to keep Keegan Paxton behind them. The slightest mistake could cost them the position, so they need to stay focused and stay on their game.
We got a close battle as Dylan Visagi closes in on Keegan Paxton. A great moment for Dylan Visagi, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
Yes, Dylan Visagi is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
Fantastic racing on show here today, and it's not just the top drivers who are impressing us. Even the drivers at the back of the pack are putting up a good fight, battling it out for every position.
It's a testament to the level of competition at SRA. Even the smallest mistake can cost you valuable seconds, or even lead to a crash. But these drivers are up to the challenge, and they're giving it their all. It's clear that SRA really is the place to be for top quality racing.
Breaking update. Things don't look to be going Melvin Gauss's way, as already they're into the pits. The crowd is on its feet as Sra Stadler chases down Jean Massou through Volkswagen. Hold up, breaking info. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line.
It's a real shame. Until this point in the race they've been looking at a decent result.
It's a thrilling pursuit as Sra Stadler is right behind Jean Massou, keeping the pressure on for 4th place.
Should things go awry, Sra Stadler and Jean Massou might find.
Breaking update. That won't be ideal for Justin Vermeulen. The battle for 4 is heating up as Sra Stadler tries to catch Jean Massou in P4.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Sra Stadler is really walking that tightrope.
Superb driving from Sra Stadler, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Chris Foley will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. A tough moment for Chris Foley, who has just lost a place, dumping them down to 9th. Oh, this is getting intense. Adrian Gauss is just a few car lengths behind Keen Gauss. As they speed through Malmesbury Strait, Anrose Stadler is relentlessly pursuing Jean Massou in a high-stakes battle for position. This is what high-octane racing looks like. Jamie Ray Nichols is breathing down the neck of Keegan Paxton, not giving them any room to relax.
And it's not just about skill and talent. It's about who has the nerves of steel to handle the pressure and make the right decisions at the right time.
The gap between Keegan Paxton and Jamie Ray Nichols is razor thin as they vie for 6th in this nail-biting contest.
With the way Keegan Paxton is stalking Jamie Ray Nichols, you'd think they're trying to figure out what they had for breakfast this morning.
This is what separates the best from the rest. These drivers are demonstrating their racecraft, searching for any weakness to exploit. It's a true test of skill. It's a challenging situation for Jamie Ray Nichols. They're sandwiched between their fierce competitors, Chris Foley 0.1 seconds away and Keegan Paxton 0.1 seconds ahead. They'll need to stay sharp and find an opportunity to make a move.
You're right on the money, Mark. Jamie Ray Nichols is caught between two determined rivals, and the gaps to the cars ahead and behind add an extra layer of complexity. It's a delicate balance between defense and seeking opportunities.
Talk about pressure. Jamie Ray Nichols is caught in the middle, feeling the heat from both Chris Foley and Keegan Paxton.
Spot on analysis, Mark. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind are like a double-edged sword for Jamie Ray Nichols. They can use the gaps to their advantage, but they also need to be aware of the threats from both directions.
It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce.
That's right, Mark. The pressure is high. The fans are on the edge of their seats, waiting to see who will come out on top in this epic showdown.
The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this.
At this rate, Keegan Paxton and Chris Foley are so close, they could share a cup of tea and a biscuit.
Oh, this is getting intense. J.P. Brand is just behind Jamie Ray Nichols.
This is what separates the good from the great. The ability to stay focused and perform under pressure.
The intensity is off the charts as Ernest Heather hounds Adrian Gauss, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. Big gains for Ernest Heather as they move up the field, leaving Adrian Gauss behind. It's a game of inches now as Adrian Gauss tails Ernest Heather closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake. Jano van der Westhuizen is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely. It's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Keegan Paxton trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Chris Foley. The gap is over stop the press. Looks like that's a mistake from Adrian Gauss. This could be costly.
Did the wind contribute to that? It's blowing at 6 kph out there right now.
The adrenaline is pumping as Keen Gauss gets within striking distance of Rian van der Westhuizen in their race for 10.
They say rubbing is racing, but if Keen Gauss gets too close, they might end up trading carbon fiber souvenirs instead of positions.
Disappointing for Keen Gauss, they now find themselves in 12th. The crowd is on tender hooks as Jamie Ray Nichols in 10th chases after J.P. Brand. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Jamie Ray Nichols find a way to catch up? It's neck and neck. The closest battle we've seen in a while.
Rian van der Westhuizen is following Keen Gauss so closely. They could start charging them Ren.
Breaking news, folks. Oh my, Keen Gauss has had an incident.
Killarney International Raceway is always a test for these drivers, and sometimes that's the way it goes.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Keegan Paxton, who is currently in P7. But Chris Foley is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Keegan Paxton.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Keegan Paxton in 7th determined to catch up. But we know Chris Foley isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Keegan Paxton is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
The race is heating up as Ernest Heather in 12th closes in on Keen Gauss. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Keen Gauss is not going to give up their position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Ernest Heather in P12 doing everything they can to catch up.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Jean Massou trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Sean Olivier. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race? Jean Massou could be on a charge here. Annie, they have just put in a quicker lap than Sean Olivier. The drivers are showing their mettle today. It's a privilege to witness their skill on this challenging track.
The stakes have never been higher. This is a battle of skill and nerves.
That's right. These drivers are really pushing themselves to the limit, and it's incredible to see the level of focus and determination they're bringing to the track.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of courage to compete at this level, and these drivers have it in spades. Let's hope they can keep it up and give us a race to remember.
The gap between Sean Olivier and Jean Massou is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Sean Olivier to even allow Jean Massou to get a look in.
It's not over till the checkered flag drops though, and it's important they don't lose concentration at this point.
It's not going to plan for Jean Massou. They are still behind Sean Olivier and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now. During your racing career, Annie, did you have any specific techniques to regain concentration if you felt it slipping?
Yes, Mark, I had a few techniques. One was to take a couple of deep breaths and briefly reset my focus. Another was to use a specific keyword or phrase as a mental trigger to refocus my mind on the task at hand.
The gap between JP Brand in 8th and Keegan Paxton remains over a second, but JP Brand is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap up. Can they pull it back in the remaining 6 minutes? Things are going according to plan. Breaking news, folks. I don't think that's the fastest way around Killarney International Raceway.
Whoops, Rian van der Westhuizen is going to be kicking themselves.
JP Brand has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Keegan Paxton. I expect their only hope at this point is that Keegan Paxton makes an error. It looks like JP Brand is making a move. The gap to Keegan Paxton is now down to 0.6 seconds.
This is where the pressure really starts to build. Both drivers will need to stay calm and focused if they want to come out on top.
We've certainly seen some of the drivers get it wrong today.
Anyone lost can just follow the trail of skid marks. I hear it's the latest form of GPS navigation.
Let's hope the other drivers don't follow suit. We might end up with a bumper car race instead of a high-speed competition.
At least we'd have something to fall back on if we ever get bored of regular racing. Bumper cars might be the next big thing.
The pursuit is on. JP Brand is closing the gap on Keegan Paxton, determined to claim P7. The tension is building as Keen Gauss trails behind Ernest Heather. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Ernest Heather hold on, or will Keen Gauss be able to close them down?
It's going to be tough for Keen Gauss, as Ernest Heather seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Keen Gauss pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Justin Vermeulen will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line.
It's a real shame. Until this point in the race, they'd been looking at a decent result.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Jean Massoud trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Sean Olivier. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Jean Massoud close in enough to mount a challenge?
That's right. Jean Massoud in third knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Sean Olivier is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
The gap between Justin Vermeulen and Lyle Ramsey may be wide, but that doesn't mean Justin Vermeulen is safe. They have to keep their concentration and avoid any lapses in performance. The race is really heating up. Lyle Ramsey is hunting down Justin Vermeulen with everything they've got. It's not looking good for Lyle Ramsey. They are still behind Justin Vermeulen and the gap is increasing. They're gonna need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around.
It's not ideal for Lyle Ramsey, but they can still turn this around. They need to focus on their own driving and not let the gap get any bigger.
It may seem like Lyle Ramsey is far behind, but Justin Vermeulen can't afford to let their guard down. One mistake could give Lyle Ramsey an opening to catch up.
That's very true, and Lyle Ramsey knows that as well. They have to drive their own race and wait for Justin Vermeulen to make a mistake, if they want to have any chance of overtaking.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Lyle Ramsey, who is currently in P13. But Justin Vermeulen is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Lyle Ramsey.
This is where experience comes into play. Justin Vermeulen has been in this position before and knows how to defend their position. But Lyle Ramsey is hungry for success and won't give up easily. Will we see a clash of the titans?
The crowd is on tender hooks as Sean Olivier in second chases after Michel Rust. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Sean Olivier find a way to catch up? Things are getting spicy now, as Lyle Ramsey and Justin Vermeulen look to battle it out for 12th place. Some great driving from Lyle Ramsey, who has increased their lead over Justin Vermeulen and is starting to put some distance between them. It's a battle of wills out there, with Sean Olivier trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Michel Rust. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Will we see a dramatic finish to this race?
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Sean Olivier in second determined to catch up. But we know Michel Rust isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Sean Olivier is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
Chantal de Jaeger has the pedal to the metal chasing Lyle Ramsey.
I might have said this before, but dog, bone, you know the rest.
This is a thrilling battle as Justin Vermeulen edges closer to Chantal de Jaeger in their fight for P12.
It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Justin Vermeulen needs to stay patient and wait for Chantal de Jaeger to make a mistake.
The race is heating up as Jean Massou in third closes in on Sean Olivier. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. Justin Vermeulen is giving it their all as they chase down Chantal de Jaeger in P12.
Will Justin Vermeulen be able to make a move and pass Chantal de Jaeger?
Jean Massou is looking to take advantage of that arrow as they get in range of Sean Olivier. That's going to give them the pull they need to mount a challenge very soon.
Absolutely. Sean Olivier is really making that car as wide as possible, not giving Jean Massou an inch of space. It's going to take something special for Jean Massou to get past him.
Wow, Jean Massou is really pushing hard to catch up to Sean Olivier. There's blood in the water for second place. And Jean Massou has just won the place from Sean Olivier.
Absolutely, Mark. But there's still a long way to go in this race, and Jean Massou can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep driving with intensity and focus.
The tension is building as Justin Vermeulen trails behind Chantal de Jaeger. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Chantal de Jaeger hold on, or will Justin Vermeulen be able to close them down? It looks like Jean Massou is pushing hard to catch up to Michel Rust. The gap is over a second, but Jean Massou is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Michel Rust? This is where the true champions shine, and Michel Rust is certainly showing their class in the final sector.
They're not leaving anything on the table.
What a win! This is a historic moment for Michel Rust, who put on a masterclass in driving today. What a display of skill and precision. Impressive second-place finish for Jean Massou.
Impressive performance. They pushed themselves to the limit for a fantastic second-place finish.
What a race from Sean Olivier. They kept their cool and secured a well-earned third place on the podium. Anro Stadler, Dylan Visagi, Chris Foley, and JP Brand in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Taking 8th, 9th, 10th, and 15th is Jamie Ray Nichols, Keegan Paxton, Keen Gauss, and Ernest Heather. Peter Geldenhuys brings home 16th. Lyle Ramsey and Chantal de Jaeger take 11th and 12th. 20th sees Melvin Gauss. With Justin Vermeulen in 13th. In 14th, it's Martin Meidtjes.
van my, soos paadjies deur die veld. Kry die hande van